We're going to jump back to item number 1, which is an application for a certificate of appropriateness in the Borough of Manhattan, docket number 15-4282, Block 542, Lot 50, 101 MacDougal Street, in the South Village Historic District. A tenement building designed by A.B. Ogden and built in 1883. The application is to alter the ground floor and install a storefront infill, and this was read into the record on April 29th, 2014, and this is the first it's being presented.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michelle Shabrami of the Preservation staff. The application before you is 101 MacDougal Street, located between Bleecker Street and West 3rd Street in the Greenwich Village Extension 2 Historic District. The application is for the removal of modern windows at the ground floor and the installation of a tall stucco bulkhead and aluminum and glass storefront within the enlarged opening, painted black to match the adjacent storefront that was installed prior to designation. They are also proposing the application of vinyl signage on the display window. Dan Barry of Atelier New York Architecture is here to discuss the proposal.
So my name is Dan Barry, and so basically we have a peculiar situation in that we had gotten this application approved prior to designation for the adjacent storefront in which we converted a previously residential unit into a storefront. That application has now been completed, and we are proposing the mirroring of that storefront into the existing residential space here. To keep with the symmetry of the building, we simply want to mirror what is currently existing with the black aluminum frame with full glass all around. So based on previous comments from the community board and
Hearing will be open, by the way, technically for this. Thank you with the motions. Thank you. Go ahead. Never mind. Hearing. Keep speaking.
So, as for previous comments given by the community board, meeting with LPC staff members, there was a discussion of possibly bringing the glazing all the way down to the level of the sidewalk, which currently is not possible. It would involve lowering the entire first floor about 3.5 feet and excavating the cellar in order to maintain egress through the backyard to the sidewalk. So currently we're proposing just simply mirroring this where the glazing goes from ceiling to floor with about a 6-inch sill on the interior between the floor and the ceiling.
So like you walk in the door and you go up some steps?
Yeah. So according to the plans here, so basically what we have is you go into the front door and you go up 3 steps onto the main level here.
Photos of the building?
Yeah, we should have. So here's the tax photos previous, where you can see they had some sort of retail stores in here between 1908 and 1938, where there wasn't entrances off the street.
We don't have
that. The larger block.
Oh, 8. Wait, so it's this one with the glass block, or the multi-lights?
It's not a very large space.
Oh, but it had that little,
Is that
That
brick
shape.
on the bottom of the facade in the rendering? It's not clear. What's surround, it's brick on the first floor, or
What's that?
what's the material around the storefront?
The existing infill is concrete blocks with typical masonry around the exterior of that, and then there's a stucco finish over top of it.
That's stucco.
And you're not required to have an accessible entrance?
No, because similar to, while we'd like the glazing to be full height to the sidewalk, it's a similar situation where there's a 20% rule for ADA accessibility, where if it exceeds 20% of your cost, then we are exempt from having it accessible. We do, however, provide ADA accessible
Look out.
paths as per plan, but with the ramps, even if we were to cut out the joists and install ramps, it would take up roughly 80% of the floor area, so it wouldn't really be feasible.
look out for that guy with the wheelchair.
Question, I'm doing the stucco on
This all
the
facade.
bulkhead to be inappropriate. Why can't you bring down metal or some other, make the whole thing unified? Let's just say, could you do that?
For which one?
Do a spandrel panel instead of the stucco needle.
Is that-
You're talking about underneath the new storefront there?
Yeah.
So that's, basically, we're proposing just to match the existing, to mirror it, to make it symmetrical. At this point, the owner has stated that because they have leased the other space, they don't want to mess with it, put more money into it and everything else. So we're just trying to propose it being symmetrical at this point.
Well, just a question about, if you look at the tax photo, there seemed to have been sort of a frame underneath. So there were the two windows and kind of this very formal entrance with the matching knee walls on either side. Do you know whether the material that's there now is a historic material that?
No, so we had done probes on the facade, which is on the last page of the handout there. So all it exposed was the concrete block infill and.
Oh, it's concrete block, okay.
So what seems to be something under there, a window to a cellar? is not
Yeah.
there.
Here. So that right now, I'm trying to think if we have any existing photos of it up here. But basically, all that is.
Yeah, you see
you
it
might be
behind the
able to see it
garbage.
in some of the
Yeah,
photos.
right behind the garbage.
It's just a
On your
wood
existing
infill.
front facade is what?
It's just wood infill. So there might have used to have been a window there, but in the cellar right now, behind that is electric fence.
Oh, so they
we can't-
completely
we can't
blocked
really,
that off.
Do anything with that.
That was a coal chute. That was the
Okay,
window.
anything else? No testimony, I hear, okay. Discussion.
Well, I agree with Fred's comment that the knee wall does look peculiar for the block, as far as I can tell from the photos, and as such would be not something that I would feel comfortable approving, but considering that this poor United building seems to have kind of had a rough past, I don't think that adding something to the right that would be different from that which is already on the left would enhance the building's historic quality, so I would reluctantly approve it as presented.
Okay, Marjorie.
So I don't feel so reluctant about it because for one, this is MacDougal Street. It's also, and when I say that, it's because it's got a very interesting past. And so it has an incredibly eclectic mix of storefronts, which are historically, storefronts, head shops, tattoo parlors, et cetera, et cetera. And the type of storefront that is representative is really kind of atypical of the village, you know? And that 1940s photograph, the tax photograph, shows that there actually was a very high knee wall that was probably a stuccoed concrete block or something like that. So actually, I think this proposal is sort of in line with what historically the building has been, and I think making them symmetrical is quite respectful of that history.
Diana?
Yeah, I'm okay with making them, similar, basically, because I think it'll kind of clean up the facade. In the long run, maybe it should go in some other direction, but I think at this point that this is a move in the right direction generally, so I
Okay.
can approve it.
Roberta?
Yeah, so I guess.
For some reason,
reluctantly, I
I
think
didn't have this.
I think it's,
Yeah.
because it is a street where there are many, openings and they do seem eclectic, and, that it could possibly fit in and could be appropriate. But I guess it's just borderline.
Yeah, okay.
To me, it's-
Fred?
Yeah, I don't disagree, it's borderline. But I think the eclecticism of the block is what convinces me, and this much altered and changed over time. Storefront itself, this is better than it's been, and it's not inappropriate within this street, so it's okay with me.
Michael? I can approve. Joan?
I can support it.
Okay. So can I, hearing is closed with a motion and a second. Diana, please. Number one.
Yeah, thank you. A tenement building, in the matter of certificate of appropriateness, 101 MacDougal Street, South Village Historic District, Block 542, Lot 50. Application is to alter the ground floor and install storefront infill. I recommend approval, finding that the building has been highly altered and that the removal of the existing modern double-hung windows and surrounding masonry will not result in demolition of or alteration to any significant architectural features, that the simple modern design of the new infill featuring a tall stucco bulkhead, metal framing, and a large glass display window will mirror the design of the existing storefront in the building, which was installed prior to designation and will reinforce symmetry around the entrance, and that the signage consisting of adhesive lettering on the display window glass will be in keeping with the scale of the storefront and will not call undue attention to itself.
Second, all in favor? Aye, opposed? Approved, thank you.